time is a mid-grade earthly realm martial skill. As long as you make it into the top 10, the reward will not be lower than the profound realm level. The training room instantly erupted in excitement. For most ordinary apprentices, just being able to enter a martial arts school to train already cost a considerable amount of money, leaving them with very little extra money to purchase advanced martial arts techniques. Wang Tingfei curled his lip in disdain. "Tch, so excited, anyone who didn't know better would think it's a celestial-level martial skill." Although everyone felt uncomfortable, no one dared to refute him. Wang Tingfei had a bad reputation, but his strength was indeed among the top, and his family background was not something they could easily offend. Chun Xin smiled and looked at him. "Young Master Wang looks down on you so much. Where do you rank on the Tianlin City Prodigy ranking? If I remember correctly, you can't even beat your own brother, right?" Wang Tingfei's face instantly darkened. The name Wang Tingen was a thorn he least wanted to be mentioned. Despite being the older brother, he was always completely suppressed by his younger brother, both in his thoughts and in martial arts. Chun Xin feigned surprise and added, "Your younger brother is 11th, so you, as the older brother, should be ahead of him, right? You're courting death." Wang Tengfei roared, his blood and qi erupting instantly. His powerful aura sent the surrounding tables and chairs flying, slamming them against the wall. The pressure of the early stage of the second level of the qi and blood realm swept across the entire area. But just as his murderous intent surged toward Qin Xian, Bai Mushue's icy gaze fell upon him. "Do you want to die?" She didn't unleash any qi or blood, but the oppressive aura pressed down like a mountain, forcibly forcing Wang Tengfei's qi and blood back into his body. The next moment, Wang Tengfei fell heavily to his knees, his whole body trembling, sweat pouring down his face contorted in pain, unable to move an inch. With just one look, he made Wang Tengfei kneel down and not get up. This is Bai Mushue's strength. Chapter 17, The Ranking of Prodigies. Feeling a surge of warmth welled up in Chun Chin's heart, as Bai Mushue protected him so forcefully. So this is what it feels like to be protected. Yu Wenshi, standing on the podium, wiped the cold sweat from his forehead and hurriedly said, "Bai Mushue, that's enough." Although he was also at the early stage of the manifestation realm, he probably wouldn't last more than a few rounds if he really fought Bai Mushue. Bai Mushue snorted coldly, withdrew her oppressive aura, and gave Wang Tengfei a cold look. "Watch your eyes, or next time it won't be as simple as kneeling down." The training room fell silent instantly, and everyone swallowed hard. This was the strength of the number 1 on Tianlin City's prodigy ranking. Even without making a move, he was enough to intimidate the entire audience. The prodigy ranking was established by the Tianxian Empire and only includes the 25 strongest geniuses under the age of 18. Regardless of background, as long as one is strong enough, one can be listed and receive substantial resource support. Wang Tengfei struggled to his feet, his face disheveled, all traces of his earlier arrogance gone. Facing Bai Mushue, the number 1 on the prodigy ranking, only deep fear remained in his eyes. Just then, Yizing walked in with a smile. "Sister Mushue is really amazing. I was just about to make a move, but I was too late." Yu Wenshi coughed lightly and quickly changed the subject. "The monthly exams are starting next. Bai Mushue, do you want to participate?" Bai Mushue shook her head. This kind of exam was meaningless to her. Inside the Shueyun Martial Arts Academy, besides Bai Mushue, there were 2 other members of the prodigy ranking. Most of the other top geniuses in Tianlin City came from prestigious schools, powerful families, and the renowned War God Fist Academy. The War God Boxing Gym, in particular, holds the 2nd, 6th, and 7th spots on the list, demonstrating its profound strength. As for those hidden geniuses, no one can say for sure. Bai Mushue turned to look at Chun Xian, her eyes asking for his opinion. Chun Xian thought for a moment, then shook his head. "I'll surprise everyone when I truly possess the strength to challenge the Heavenly Pride ranking." Seeing the barely suppressed smile on his lips, Bai Mushue felt somewhat helpless. Chun Xian had clearly changed a lot compared to before, especially enjoying showing off his strength in front of others. Seeing Chun Xian give up the assessment, Wang Tengfei's eyes flashed with resentment. He had originally planned to take advantage of the monthly exam to teach Chun Xian a lesson. After leaving the martial arts gym, the 3 went straight home. As soon as they entered the training room, Chun Xian couldn't wait to start practicing. In addition to the Celestial Star Scripture, the system also rewarded the first volume of the external martial arts technique, Heaven and Earth Forbidden Scroll. Although this technique is only the first volume, it has already reached the celestial realm level. Having tasted the benefits of a top-tier cultivation technique, Chun was well aware of its terrifying nature. Even without actively cultivating it, the heavenly star scripture would still draw upon the power of the stars to continuously strengthen his body. Taking a deep breath, Chun slowly opened the forbidden scroll of heaven and earth. His new path of cultivation had officially begun. Chapter 18: Cultivating Martial Arts. The martial arts of external training focus on cultivating the physical body. The stronger the physical body, the higher the realm and strength. The cultivation method of Forbidden Scroll of Heaven and Earth is to continuously absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth and use the violent power to cleanse the entire body of flesh and blood, strengthening the physical body through repeated tempering. In just half a day, Chun had cultivated the first volume of the Forbidden Scroll of Heaven and Earth to the level of mastery. Compared to the top-tier moonlight level cultivation technique, Heavenly Star Scripture, Heaven and Earth Forbidden Scroll, is significantly easier to master. After mastering the cultivation technique, Chun immediately began practicing martial arts. The system lottery gave him 3 Earth-level martial arts techniques: the Palm Technique, Heavenly Imperial Palm; the Spear Technique, Thunderbolt Spear Technique; and the external martial arts technique, Mad Demon Fist. In addition, there is a celestial-level weapon, the Fire-Tipped Spear. With his marksmanship and divine weapon, he was saved a lot of trouble. The Heavenly Palm has 5 forms. It uses a special method to circulate chi and blood, concentrating power in the palm. The palm strike is like a fine needle, capable of penetrating the enemy's body surface and attacking directly inside. Even without reaching the manifestation realm, one can still achieve the separation of chi and blood from the body. An hour later, Chun had mastered the Heavenly Imperial Palm technique to the advanced level. After that, he began to study the Thunderbolt Spear technique. This marksmanship focuses on ferocious killing and consists of 4 shots. The first shot, lightning. The second shot, a lightning strike. The third shot, thunder fury. The fourth shot, thunderstorm. The 4 shots build up progressively, each more powerful than the last, with the final shot even capable of triggering a thunderous explosion. However, it also has obvious drawbacks. The 4 moves must be executed in a continuous sequence. If interrupted midway, the subsequent moves cannot be performed. Fortunately, the higher your proficiency, the faster you can draw your gun, making it harder for the enemy to find a weakness. Compared to the previous 2 martial arts techniques, Chun was most satisfied with the Mad Demon Fist. This martial art is imbued with a sense of madness. After practicing it, this special power will be born within the body. The madness's intent is extremely powerful, almost guaranteeing injury upon contact, but the cost is equally staggering. It will constantly erode the physical body and wear down the will. Over time, not only will one's spiritual realm decline, but one will also go completely insane. That is why this martial art was rated as earthly rank. But for Chun, who possesses an immortal body, these side effects are nothing to worry about. The moment the madness destroyed his flesh and blood, his body would instantly regenerate. It erodes willpower, but ironically becomes the best tool for tempering the spirit. Chun raised his right hand, and wisps of black energy swirled around his palm, radiating a frenzied and violent aura. The next moment, he clenched his fist, and black energy quickly covered his entire arm. Boom. He punched the punching power testing machine. The black energy exploded instantly, and countless cracks appeared on the hard surface of the machine, with the remaining demonic intent continuing to erode it. Chun was secretly alarmed. This power is truly terrifying. Although the madness that consumed his body caused excruciating pain, he soon discovered that the flesh that grew back after being destroyed was even more resilient than before. This surprised and delighted him. Mad Fist can not only increase attack power, but also temper willpower and even strengthen physical defense. It was practically tailor-made for him. Afterwards, Chun withdrew the remaining demonic intent from his body and continued to practice the corresponding fist techniques. Before long, he elevated the Mad Demon Fist to the level of mastery. I'm just one step away from entering a state of deep concentration. No matter how much he practiced, he was still unable to break through that bottleneck. Chun quickly thought of his physique, the battle-enlightened body. This physique grows stronger with each battle, and one's comprehension continuously improves during combat, even allowing for sudden enlightenment while fighting. Since arduous training is useless, then let's fight. He wanted to see if he could reach the divine realm in actual combat by relying on his combat body. Chapter 19, Sparring with EZing. Just as Chen Shun was about to go find Yizing to spar with, he suddenly remembered that he had won a martial arts enhancement card in the lottery yesterday. After reading the description, he understood that this card could increase the proficiency of any martial art by 1 level, but it could only be used on martial arts skills, not on internal cultivation techniques. After a moment's thought, Chen Shun decided to keep it for now. He wanted to test whether he could cultivate the Mad Demon Fist to a divine level based on his own comprehension. After all, the Mad Fist is his strongest attack method right now, and if he really can't break through, he has to use this upgrade card on it. Upon arriving at Yizing's room, Chen Shin explained his purpose. Yizing readily agreed, and the two then went to the backyard. Hearing the commotion, Bai Muxue also rushed over to watch. It was called a sparring match, but it was more like Yizing practicing with Chen Shun. If she were even slightly serious, Chen Shun would probably be knocked down. Yizing planned to suppress herself based on the strength Chen Shun displayed, only being slightly stronger than him at any given moment. This way, she could put pressure on him without completely overwhelming him. Chen Shun looked at Bai Muxue. Muxue, do you have a gun? Bai Muxue took out a D-level spear from her spatial ring and handed it to him. Chen Shun did not take out his sky-piercing fire-tipped spear. Cultivation techniques could be explained by bloodline inheritance, but physical weapons were difficult to explain. He could only find an opportunity to explain them later. With the spear in hand, Chen Shin's blood surged, and a flash of lightning appeared at the tip of the spear. He instantly charged towards Yizing. Yizing easily dodged with a slight twist of her waist. The next moment, Chen Shin's thrust turned into a sweeping motion, directly unleashing the first strike of the Thunderbolt Spear technique, summoning lightning. Blue lightning crackled at the tip of the spear, sweeping towards Yizing with astonishing speed. But her figure was like a phantom, and Chen Shin's attack couldn't touch her at all. His first shot missed, and Chen Shin's eyes narrowed slightly. He immediately unleashed a second shot, lightning strike. The lightning swept out, scorching even the ground in the backyard. But the shot still missed. Chen Shun was immediately annoyed, knowing that Yizing had used her talent, Phantom, which allowed her to move around using the surrounding shadows. Yizing, I asked you to spar with me, not to tease me. Yizing appeared not far away, smiling charmingly. All right then, I'll practice with you seriously. As soon as she finished speaking, a blood-red longsword appeared in her hand, and her figure vanished from Chen Shin's sight in an instant. Chen Shin sensed the change in aura, suddenly turned around, and fired a spear, simultaneously unleashing his third spear, Thunder Fury. A burst of violent lightning erupted from the spear tip, instantly sweeping across the backyard. A loud clang rang out as the spear clashed violently with the blood-stained blade. Yizing was forced back 2 steps, leaving deep footprints on the ground. A look of surprise flashed in her eyes. She hadn't expected that Chen Shun, without even activating his battle body, could suppress her, a 7th-level martial artist. The next moment, Yizing raised her strength to the 9th level of martial artist, and her expression became more serious. Little man, you'd better be careful. Seeing her seriousness, Chen Shin immediately activated his comprehension battle body. Only in this way could he grow stronger with each battle, and even enter a state of simultaneous combat and enlightenment. Then, Yizing, like a true ghost, attacked from all directions. She suppressed her strength to the level of a 9th-level martial artist, but no longer held back. After Chen Shin activated his battle body, his combat awareness, skills, and reaction speed improved rapidly. Whenever Yizing suddenly appeared, he was always able to block her attacks in time. Gradually, Yizing noticed that the rhythm of the battle had changed. Initially, Chen Shun could only passively defend, but now he was starting to seize opportunities to counterattack. She could clearly sense that Chen Shin's strength was constantly increasing during the battle. The speed at which his combat awareness was improving was practically visible to the naked eye. This is the terrifying aspect of the battle body. Chen Shin only officially entered the martial arts world yesterday, yet he has already grown to this level in such a short time. In the end, Yizing, with her strength as a level 9 martial artist, could no longer suppress Chen Shin. Even as soon as she emerged from the shadows, Chen Shin was able to react and launch a counterattack. Bai Muxue, standing to the side, was also alarmed. Yizing's Phantom was a sudden attack, and even she herself might not be able to defend against it every time. Just then, Tu Bo quietly appeared beside Bai Muxue, looking at Chen Shun in the arena and sighing. Miss, do you understand now? The power of the 5 physiques is beyond reason. Chapter 20 The 3 Races and 6 Empires of Myriad Realms. In the past, Bai Muxue always felt that with her talent, Even if she couldn't compare to the top geniuses, she wouldn't be much inferior. It was only after witnessing Chun Chin's rapid growth that she truly realized the gap between them. She could only be considered a top-tier genius at best, while Chun Chun, who possessed 5 top-tier physiques, was already above the top tier and was a true peerless genius. So far, she has only met Chun Chun. However, she had heard that there was another person in the Tianxian Empire who was also among the peerless geniuses, but she had never inquired about his identity. In the myriad realms, there are 3 major races: the human race, the demon race, and the sea race. Among them, the human race is further divided into ordinary human race, god race, immortal race, wild race, elf race, and other branches. The demon race includes many races such as dragon race, Chilan race, fox race, tiger race, and so on. As for the sea creatures, they live in the vast ocean and are the weakest of the 3 races in terms of overall strength. There are 6 great empires in the entire universe. The Tianxian Empire, jointly ruled by humans, demons, and beastmen. The Divine Beast Empire, ruled by dragons, phoenixes, and Chilan. And the Myriad Demon Empire, controlled by the 9 major demon clans. In addition, there is the Holy Empire, jointly ruled by the gods, immortals, wilderness clan, and elves. The Immortal Qin Empire, ruled by the Qin royal family, and the Sea Whale Empire, controlled by the Sea clan. The 6 empires were not at peace, and wars broke out frequently. The Tianxian Empire, where Chun Chun is located, is situated in the center of the 5 major empires and shares borders with the other empires. It borders the Divine Beast Empire and the Immortal Qin Empire to the north, the Myriad Demon Empire, and the Holy Empire to the south, and is connected to the Sea Whale Empire in the sea direction. This is why the Tianxian Empire has a diverse population of races, with humans, demons, and beastmen coexisting, making it the most inclusive of the 6 great empires. There is no strict racial hierarchy here. Humans and orcs can live together freely, intermarry, and have children. The entire empire was jointly managed by 18 counselors, and there was no aristocratic class in the traditional sense. Compared to the strict hierarchical systems of the Divine Beast Empire and the Holy Empire, the Tianxian Empire appears to be much more free. Of course, the phenomenon of the strong bullying the weak and the rich oppressing the poor can never be avoided, no matter where you are. Bai Muxiue snapped out of her thoughts and looked at the 2 people still fighting not far away. Chun Chun had been using the comprehension battle body for over half an hour, and his body was clearly starting to feel the strain, but he still hadn't been able to enter a state of enlightenment. He quickly realized the problem. Yixing was holding back her strength the whole time. This could only be considered sparring, not a real battle. Thinking of this, Chun Chun stopped on his own initiative. Xing, let's stop sparring for now. This kind of practice can only improve combat awareness and skills. It won't give me any enlightenment. Yixing's lips twitched slightly. He improved so much in just half an hour, and he's still not satisfied? She suddenly realized that it wouldn't be long before Chun Chun really caught up with her. Chun Chun was already covered in sweat, his long white hair plastered to his forehead and back, and his soaked short-sleeved shirt tightly wrapped around his body, outlining smooth and powerful muscle lines. Before he could cultivate, he devoted all his energy to training his body, and through sheer hard work, he developed a near-perfect inverted triangle physique. With the increase in his charm and the tempering he underwent after entering the world of martial arts, his muscles became more toned, exuding power and beauty. Yixing's eyes lit up, and she couldn't help but step forward and pinch his arm as if admiring a work of art. Bai Muxiue, who was standing to the side, blushed slightly when she saw this scene and turned around to go back to her room. Yixing leaned close to Chun Chun's ear and said with a smile, "Little Chun Chun, let's go take a bath together." Chun Chun immediately felt his blood and chi surge. After what happened last time, he had to admit that he was indeed somewhat unable to resist Yixing's initiative. After the 2 finished washing up and returned to their room, Bai Muxiue was unable to fall asleep for a long time. Her room was separated from Chun Chun's by only one wall, and thinking about what had just happened, her face grew even hotter. Late into the night, she finally seemed to have made up her mind. After putting on her nightgown, Bai Muxiue quietly left the room and arrived at Yixing's door. ##### Chapter 21 War God Boxing Gym. Nickname: Great Sage Equal to Heaven. Bai Muxiue, who was outside the door, was taken aback when she heard the sounds coming from inside the room. She felt that Yixing's tone was more gentle and charming than usual today. Just a slight thought caused Bai Muxiue's pretty face to flush bright red, even her ears turning crimson. A few seconds later, She couldn't stay any longer and hurriedly ran back to her room. Inside the room, Ying's lips curled slightly as she glanced towards the door. With her third-tier spiritual martial arts strength, how could she not sense someone outside? The next morning, when Chunshin opened his eyes, he saw Ying lying on her side beside him, smiling at him. "Little Chunshin, are you awake?" Upon hearing this title, Chunshin couldn't help but shudder. He had to admit that the allure of the succubus bloodline was indeed astonishing. After adjusting his mindset, Chunshin took the initiative to change the subject. "Today I want to go to the war god boxing gym. Only a real life or death battle can allow the comprehension of the battle body to exert its maximum effect." Ying nodded and earnestly instructed. "Most of the people there are ruthless characters who live by the sword. They will use any means to win, so you must not be careless." She knew that Chunshin possessed extremely strong regenerative abilities, but even with such strong regeneration, he was still vulnerable to being killed in a single blow. Chunshin understood that Ying was concerned about him, and his heart warmed. After washing up, the two told by Mermaid about their plan. In the end, the three decided to go to the God of War boxing gym together. Many talented individuals choose to hone their skills at the God of War boxing gym because true powerhouses are forged in battle. The War God boxing gym is spread across 5 empires. It possesses such immense power only because its founder is revered as the war god. The boxing gym is open from 9 a.m. to midnight every day. Spectators can place bets, and fighters in the ring can improve their ranking and earn generous rewards by winning. For this reason, countless martial artists flock to it, and even many scions of powerful families choose to join the War God boxing hall. Upon arriving at the Tianlin City branch, the three donned their unique masks. These masks were engraved with special runes that could conceal their appearance and aura. The staff at the registration desk smiled and asked, "Are you three here to register as members?" "It's not us, it's him." Ying pointed at Chunshin. The staff member nodded and said, "After filling in your nickname and receiving your token, you'll be officially a member." Chunshin was somewhat surprised. He hadn't expected the process to be so simple. By Mermaid explained, "There are many wanted criminals and outlaws here. If we ask them to register their real identities, they simply won't come." Chunshin suddenly realized, then looked at the two women. "I'm not very good at naming things. Can you help me think of one?" Ying's eyes lit up. "You have the Wujan Bati. So why not call yourself Bawang? Chunshin thought it was good, but as soon as he entered his nickname, a prompt popped up on the screen. "Nickname already taken." The staff member added, "If you really like this name, you can challenge the original owner, and if you win, you can take the nickname." Chunshin opened the document and was immediately stunned. "A heavenly level member?" Ying helplessly spread her hands. "Don't even think about it. Mermaid and I are currently only Earth level members. We will only have the opportunity to advance to heaven level after we break through to the 100 Apertures realm." Chunshin's lips twitched slightly, and he had no choice but to abandon the idea. Just as he was fretting, a sudden flash of inspiration struck him, and he remembered a name he knew well from his previous life. He raised his hand and typed 4 large characters. "The Monkey King." The screen lit up the next second. "DD, registration successful." By Mermaid and Ying were both stunned when they saw this nickname. Ying couldn't help but laugh and said, "At most, I would only dare to give you the title of king, but you went and were directly made a saint, the great sage equal to heaven." By Mermaid shook her head helplessly. "If this name gets out, I'm afraid many people will want to challenge you. After all, this title is just too arrogant." Chapter 22, Overwhelming Strength. After completing the formalities, the staff handed Chunshin a wooden token with the 4 characters Chitian engraved on it. This is a symbol of status for ordinary members of the War God boxing gym. Led by Mermaid and Ying, Chunshin arrived at the mortal level competition arena. Although the mortal level arena doesn't have a large audience, it's a gathering place for agents from various families and factions. Many talented individuals from the lower ranks begin their careers here. Looking at the arena, Ying smiled and said, "With Xiao Chunshin's strength, no one at the mortal level should be able to put pressure on him." Mermaid nodded. "The rules for advancing in the War God boxing gym are simple. Win 10 consecutive matches, defeat the top player in your current rank, and finally defeat a member from the next higher rank to advance in rank." At this time, the back of Chunshin's token only had the words mortal level. Since the mortal level is not difficult, let's just go straight up. As soon as he finished speaking, Chunshin leaped down from the spectator stands and landed steadily in the center of the arena. The martial artist, who had just finished his match, immediately became alert. Who are you? Chun stood with his hands behind his back and said calmly, Want to continue fighting? If not, get off here and don't waste time. After a moment's hesitation, the other party ultimately chose to leave. Chun scanned the entire room and calmly said, I want to finish the promotion tournament directly today, so I hope everyone will cooperate. Why don't the number one extraordinary level expert come up directly, so as not to waste time? These words caused an uproar in the room. This guy is way too arrogant. If you dare to say that, you must have some skill. In the spectator's stands, Bai Mushu sighed and rubbed her forehead in exasperation. She knew that Chun had started again. On the contrary, Yi Xing's eyes lit up, and she found Chun to be exceptionally charming. Just then, a burly figure leaped onto the arena. Kid, don't get too cocky. Someone exclaimed in surprise. The 9th level of the mortal realm, the great tiger. Chun glanced at him. Bronze skin realm, jade skin level? Perfect for testing your defense. Before he finished speaking, he took a step forward and instantly rushed in front of Dahu, striking out with a palm. Big Tiger snorted coldly and crossed his arms to block. Bang! The next second, his expression changed drastically, and he staggered back several steps, revealing a bright red palm print on both arms. This power, is it really from a level 5 martial artist? Big Tiger roared, earth-shaking fist. The wind from the punch came whistling in, but Chun stood still in place. As the fist approached, he twisted his waist, his right palm surged with energy, and he struck out fiercely. Boom! The tiger flew backward like a sandbag and crashed heavily to the ground. His prized jadeskin defense was shattered by Chun single palm strike. The entire room fell silent instantly. A level 5 martial artist defeated a bronze skin realm jadeskin realm expert with a single palm strike. The agents in the audience were immediately impressed. Such a genius is definitely worth recruiting. Chun stood in the center of the arena, his tone still calm. Next one, I'm in a hurry. This time, no one thought he was being arrogant. Inside the waiting room, the ordinary level martial artists looked at each other, and no one dared to go on stage. Even the 9th level mortal was slapped away. How many moves could they possibly withstand? A moment later, a young man with a knife walked onto the ring. My name is Jinshan, and I am the 5th ranked mortal. Chun smiled faintly. You'll know my name once you lose. Also, that palm strike just now was just an ordinary blow. As soon as he finished speaking, he took the initiative to act again. With an instant burst of powerful physical strength, the distance of more than 10 meters was covered in the blink of an eye. Jinshan's expression changed, and he drew his sword, roaring, wind slash. The blade flashed out. However, Chun did not dodge at all. Clang! The long sword struck his shoulder, producing a metallic clang. Jinshan's hand went numb, and his face was filled with shock. How could a martial artist at the Iron Skin realm have such terrifying defense? In the instant he was stunned, Chun swung his palm out. Snap! Jinshan was sent flying, following in Daha's footsteps. ### Chapter 23 Profound Level Arena. As Jinshan was slammed off the stage with a single palm strike, the entire arena fell silent instantly. The 5th ranked expert among mortals couldn't even withstand a single palm strike. Just how terrifying is the strength of this suddenly appearing great sage equal to heaven? Chun stood in the center of the arena, looked around, and said calmly, Now, you should remember my name. My name is the Monkey King. As soon as the words were spoken, a figure swiftly leaped onto the arena, moving with the lightness of a gentle breeze. A mere newcomer dares to call himself a saint? I'll test you. People in the audience quickly recognized the person's identity. The 3rd-ranked mortal, Qingfeng. I heard he is Du Zizhen, who ranked 4th in experimental middle school, and his martial arts skills are unpredictable. The experimental middle school ranks 4th, which would place it in the top 100 among the younger generation in Tianlin City. Let's see if he can stop the Monkey King. Despite the crowd's discussion, Chun remained calm and took action immediately. Qingfeng was indeed very fast, constantly dodging Chun attacks, but everyone could see that he was finding it increasingly difficult to dodge. Chun-Chen's lips curled into a slight smile, and he suddenly quickened his attack. Under the relentless assault, Qingfeng finally couldn't hold on any longer and was blasted away by a palm strike. Not bad, he didn't faint. Looking at Qingfeng sitting on the ground vomiting blood, Chun-Chen smiled and nodded. He then scanned the entire room once more. Where's the number 1 mortal? Come out. After I'm done with you, I should head to the Mystic Level Arena. This time, the one stepping onto the stage was a girl, none other than the number 1 mortal level fighter, Bloodwater. She excels at assassination and speed, but against Chun Shun, who is at the peak of the copper skin realm, her attacks are completely unable to break through his defenses. In the end, Chun Shun showed no mercy and knocked her unconscious with a single palm strike. Even the top mortal level player was defeated so decisively that the remaining people immediately lost the courage to go on stage. Just then, a staff member walked over. Great Sage equal to heaven, you are now qualified for promotion and may proceed to the profound level arena for a challenge. Chinchin nodded and turned to leave. Yixing followed behind, smiling as she said, Little Chinchan was really domineering just now, taking down a kid with one slap. Chun Shun pursed his lips, feeling that she was teasing him for still being able to dominate in the mortal level arena. The atmosphere became noticeably more intense after arriving at the Shin level arena. The battle on the arena was extremely fierce, with various martial arts techniques erupting one after another, drawing continuous cheers from the audience. Most of the Shin level members are martial artists at the second level of martial arts, while the top-ranked members have even entered the third level. There are no limits on the number of people in the mortal and profound levels. As long as you break through the second realm, or have the strength to challenge those of higher levels, you can enter the profound level. However, at the prefecture level, there are only 500 slots available in the entire Tianlin city, and those who can enter are all experts in the third realm of martial arts. Looking at the arena in front of him, Chinchin also felt a bit of pressure, because next, he will be facing martial artists at the Blood Bell realm or the Skin Pattern realm of the Horizontal Training realm. Led by the staff, Chinchin stepped onto the arena. The audience erupted in commotion upon seeing a level 5 martial artist appear in the Shin level arena. Holy crap, is this guy insane? A level 5 martial artist challenging a Shin level 1. He just swept through the mortal level arena and now wants to advance to the profound level. That's incredibly arrogant, daring to challenge a Blood Bell realm martial artist across realms. Despite the surrounding discussions, Chun Chin remained calm. Let's get someone who isn't ranked, anyone will do. These words immediately caused an uproar in the war zone. How dare a level 5 martial artist so disrespect a Blood Bell realm expert? In an instant, more than a dozen streams of energy erupted simultaneously, rushing towards the arena. However, one of the speed-type martial artists took the lead and stood in front of Chin Chin first. This was a Ratman warrior with pointed ears, long teeth, a cunning look, and a confident smile. In his eyes, Chun Shun was not an opponent at all, but a reward of points delivered to his door. After all, at the War God Boxing Gym, points can be exchanged for martial arts techniques, skills, and various cultivation resources. Blood Bell realm warriors like them prefer to exchange for blood pattern pills. This kind of pill can improve blood and chi, and increase cultivation speed. A single mid-grade blood pattern pill is worth over 200,000. The Ratman licked his lips, his smile growing even more smug. Kid, today I'll show you what it feels like to not even touch the hem of my clothes. As soon as he finished speaking, his figure suddenly became illusory. The next second, his afterimage filled the entire arena. Chapter 24 Sudden Enlightenment. The God-level Mad Demon Fist. Seeing this, Chin Chin's eyes finally showed some interest. A Xuanzhen-level speed martial skill at the transformation stage? It seems you've put a lot of effort into this skill. The Ratman's voice came from all directions, and there were afterimages all around. Of course, I practiced for 9 years, putting almost all my energy into this martial art, and that's how I achieved my current speed. Chin Chin knew that it was time for him to unleash most of his strength. In an instant, his muscles tensed, his blood boiled, and wisps of blood energy seeped from his skin and swirled around his body. Then today, I'll play whack-a-mole. Chin Chin gathered chi and blood in his arms, and his palms instantly turned red, like red-hot steel. The next second, he suddenly struck out with his palm. The intense heat caused the surrounding air to distort slightly, and white steam continuously rose from his palms. Experience the power of the heavenly imperial palm. Chun Chin exerted force with both legs, and his body moved at high speed. As soon as he sensed the Ratman's presence approaching, he would strike out with his palm without hesitation. He didn't aim for a direct hit. He just wanted to grasp the target a little each time, slowly wearing the Ratman down until his body couldn't take it anymore. In the stands, Bai Mushue couldn't help but laugh. The scene right now really looks like a game of whack-a-mole. The Ratman covered his head and ran around in a panic, not daring to confront them head-on, while Chun Chin pursued him relentlessly, striking out with one palm after another. Gradually, the Ratman also realized that something was wrong. He had several abrasions on his body before he knew it. He suddenly stopped, clenched his right fist, and threw a punch at Chun Chun, who was chasing after him. Chun Chun didn't back down and struck back with his own palm. Boom. Fists and palms collided, creating a shockwave. Chun Chun remained motionless, while the Rat Man was forced back 2 steps. A gasp of surprise immediately erupted from the stands. How could a level 5 martial artist suppress a Chi and Blood Realm cultivator in terms of strength? This is simply outrageous. Again, Chun Chin's fighting spirit was completely ignited, and he directly activated the Comprehension Battle Body. His purpose in coming here was to achieve enlightenment during the battle, so he naturally didn't want to waste any more time. The next moment, Chun Chin's aura suddenly became heavy, like a sleeping prehistoric beast awakening. His skin began to redden, and his eyes gradually turned bloodshot. Come. As soon as he finished speaking, Chun Chin's figure blurred into a blur as he instantly attacked the Rat Man. This time, the Rat Man couldn't hold on any longer. After activating the Comprehension Battle Body, Chun Chin's punching power easily exceeded 10,000, while the Rat Man's strength lay in speed, and power was not an advantage at all. Bang! The Rat Man was blasted away by a single punch. Before he even landed, Chun Chun had already pushed off the ground again and shot off like a cannonball. Another punch landed hard on the Rat Man's abdomen. The rat coughed up blood, even bringing out several fragments of its internal organs, and slammed its body heavily onto the arena, only to bounce up once more. He forced himself to stand up despite the excruciating pain and quickly waved his hand. You're not human, you're a beast in human skin. I surrender. After saying that, the Rat Man immediately jumped off the stage, afraid that Chun Chun would throw another punch. Everyone on the sidelines was stunned. A level 5 martial artist actually defeated a Blood Bell realm martial artist at the second level of Chi and Blood. Chun Chun stood on the arena, his fighting spirit still surging. Whoever has a strength exceeding 10,000 Jin, come up and fight me. Although he had already defeated a Blood Bell realm warrior and was qualified to become a Shin level member, he did not intend to leave. He will not give up until he achieves enlightenment today. I'll give you a try. A deep voice, like the roar of a tiger, rang out. Soon, a tiger man stepped onto the arena. His physique is similar to that of a human, yet he retains distinct tiger-like features and exudes a fierce aura. Chun Chun could tell at a glance that the other party had a strong beast-man bloodline. Tiger roars in the forest. The great sage equal to heaven. After announcing their names, the two exchanged no words and instantly transformed into 2 afterimages, colliding together. Bang bang bang. The booming sounds of fists hitting flesh echoed continuously. Dust flew up on the arena, and the 2 fighters' speed and power increased steadily. Hu Xiaolin is a martial artist who practices external martial arts and has already entered the skin pattern realm. Several black magic patterns appeared on his skin, with a faint golden luster between the patterns. These magical runes can enhance strength and defense. If there are enough of them, they can even form arrays, making the physical body even stronger. However, Hu Xiaolin only had 5 or 6 demonic runes on his body, which were not enough to form a true array. But even against such an opponent, Chun Chun had a very enjoyable time fighting. The feeling of each punch hitting him head-on allowed him to fully unleash his battle body. At that very moment, Chun Chun's consciousness suddenly became ethereal. Everything outside seemed to begin to blur, and the body entered a subconscious fighting state. He could clearly sense every punch his body threw, but no longer needed to actively control it. If the opponent is stronger, he might have to be distracted to fight. But the tiger-roaring forest before him was not enough to force him to take that step. Therefore, Chun Chun immersed most of his consciousness in enlightenment. This time, he wants to use the battle to push Madman Fist to a divine level. ####Chapter 25. I've been kept by a rich woman. In the spectator stance, by Mushiwe, and Yixing quickly noticed Chun Chun's change. On the surface, he was still suppressing Hu Xiaolin, but his movements were less agile, as if his consciousness had entered another state. By Mushiwe's eyes lit up immediately. He has entered a state of enlightenment. Enlightenment is a state that all martial artists dream of. Bai Mushiwe has only experienced it once, when she was 15, and Yixing has never entered it at all. The 2 women looked at Chun Chun with envy, knowing that he had the chance to have an epiphany whenever he fought. On the arena, wisps of white aura gradually appeared around Chun Chun. Hu Xiaolin could also clearly sense that the strength of the person in front of him was rapidly increasing. This is the terrifying aspect of the battle body. As long as Chun Chun is in battle, he can continuously become stronger. Hu Xiaolin grew increasingly alarmed as the fight progressed. Every time he exchanged blows with Chen Chun, his fist would turn red and ache from the impact. 2 minutes later, Chen Chen's aura surged, his blood and chi improved again, and he officially broke through to the 6th level of martial artist. At the same time, his understanding of Mad Fist was also deepening rapidly, and he was only one step away from reaching the level of mastery. As Chen Chen's power surged, Hu Xiaolin finally couldn't hold on any longer. His body kept retreating, and his fists were already torn apart, with blood dripping all over the ground. Just as Hu Xiaolin was about to admit defeat, Chen Chen slowly opened his eyes. A black, demonic aura emanated from his body. The moment the mad aura touched Hu Xiaolin, he felt as if his soul had been cleaved by a knife, and his face instantly turned to pain. The mad fist primarily targets the physical body, while the mad aura gained after entering a state of divine mastery can directly strike the soul. Chen Chen felt this power and nodded in satisfaction. So, this is the mad demon fist at the divine realm level. He raised his hand and withdrew the mad energy that had invaded Hu Xiaolin's body, then asked calmly, "Want to continue?" Hu Xiaolin's hands trembled so much that his bones were showing, and his eyes were filled with nothing but fear. He couldn't understand how such an extraordinary genius could suddenly emerge from a place like Tianlin City. He was clearly only a level 6 martial artist, yet he was able to overpower him, a mere skin pattern refining martial artist. If the opponent were to break through to the 2nd realm, wouldn't he be like a chicken, completely at the mercy of others? The audience was eerily quiet. Everyone was staring intently at Chen Chen, as if they wanted to see through his mask to his true identity. Having achieved his objective, Chen Chen had no intention of continuing the fight. Tonight's battle had greatly enhanced his combat awareness and practical skills. Upon arriving at the workbench, he handed the wooden token to the staff member and successfully exchanged it for a silver token symbolizing a Xian-level member. Although the spies from those families and forces were tempted, none of them dared to step forward rashly. Such an extraordinary genius was most likely not a wild martial artist, but probably came from some hidden force. Bai Muxue and Yi Xing were already waiting at the exit. Yi Xing looked at him with a smile. Little Chen Chen really stole the show today. Chen Chen snorted coldly, his face full of arrogance. It's hard not to be noticed when I make my appearance. Yi Xing blinked. Then do you want Xing to play a match with you? Chen Chen immediately pretended not to hear. Let's go home. It's almost dark. After returning home, Chen Chen was about to go into his room to cultivate when Bai Muxue suddenly called out to him. Chen Chen, wait a minute, this is for you. She handed him a medicine bottle. Chen Chen shook it, and the sound of pills clinking together came from inside. What's this? 10 top-grade chi and blood pills are perfect for improving the chi and blood of a martial artist. With your talent, you should be able to absorb the maximum medicinal power. Bai Muxue spoke calmly, as if she were simply giving away an ordinary gift. If you haven't broken through to the 9th level of martial arts after you've used it, you can come back to me. Chen Chen was immediately overjoyed. The top-grade chi and blood pill is worth 100,000 each, and 10 pills would be worth 1 million. Moreover, it is in short supply, and ordinary people simply cannot buy it. At this moment, Chen Chen finally understood what it meant to be kept by a rich woman. What does a man's dignity matter? This is amazing. It's so tempting to get so many cultivation resources in return. Chapter 26: The Cultivation Speed of an Unparalleled Genius. Chen Chen felt a warmth in his heart and immediately hugged Bai Muxue. Muxue, you are so good to me. After saying that, he kissed Bai Muxue on the cheek. Bai Muxue froze on the spot, her fair face quickly turning red, and even her neck was tinged with a blush. Yi Xing couldn't help but laugh from the side. Little Chen Chen, look how scared you've made Muxue. Bai Muxue then came to her senses and hurriedly said, You should go cultivate now. I need to cultivate too. After saying that, she turned and ran. Chen Chen smiled at Yi Xing, then casually put his arm around her waist and led her upstairs. Yi Xing teased, You're not planning something mischievous again in broad daylight, are you? Chen Chen's face darkened. What are you thinking? I can't even hug my own woman. Downstairs, Uncle Su watched the group playfully fighting and shook his head with a smile. But the next second, his gaze suddenly sharpened as he looked at the woods 200 meters away from the courtyard wall. In the woods, the 3 demons were tense, sweating profusely, as if they were being watched by some terrifying being. The 3 of them didn't dare to say a word and turned to flee in 3 different directions. Su Bo withdrew his gaze and said in a low voice, The 3 demons are probably after Yi Xing. After returning to his room, Chen Chen immediately began cultivating. He now has no shortage of cultivation techniques and martial arts skills, and his combat skills can be rapidly improved by relying on his combat body. The most important thing right now is to improve his realm as soon as possible. He took out the top-grade chi and blood pill that Mushiwa had given him and swallowed it directly. The pill entered the stomach and instantly transformed into pure medicinal power, flowing to every part of the body. Chun-Shin sat cross-legged, focusing all his efforts on absorbing the medicinal power to strengthen his own chi and blood. For martial artists, the first stage of chi and blood is merely a stage of accumulation. What truly determines future potential is the foundation laid after the second stage of chi and blood. The higher the level, the more one needs to refine oneself to the extreme. From evening until the next morning, nearly 12 hours later, Chun-Shun refined 2 top-grade chi and blood pills. Moreover, the drug absorption rate exceeds 95%. His chi and blood surged by 96 points, reaching a total of 446 points, successfully breaking through to the 7th level of martial artist. He is only 4 points of health away from becoming an 8th level martial artist. Such a rapid cultivation speed left by Mushiwa and Yizing dumbfounded. Even Uncle Su couldn't help but show a look of surprise. Back then, it took Mushiwa most of a day to refine a top-grade chi and blood pill. However, Chun-Shin absorbed 2 pills in less than 12 hours. At this rate, he could refine 4 or 5 top-grade chi and blood pills a day. This is the terrifying talent brought about by top-tier physique. Uncle Su was completely relieved. With his battle body, Chun-Shun is destined to become a powerful figure in the future. For the rest of the day, Chun-Shin stayed in his room and cultivated like crazy. With sufficient resources to support him, his cultivation level improved at an astonishing speed. With the same resources, his cultivation speed was even several times faster than Mushiwa's. It wasn't until Thursday morning that Mushiwa called him out of the room. The people from Panshir Martial Arts School are here. They're going to smash up Shui Yun Martial Arts School's place today. Upon hearing this, Chun-Shun raised an eyebrow. Shui Yun Martial Arts School didn't treat him very well. When his talent for life regeneration was first discovered, the martial arts school's leadership warmly welcomed him. But when they learned that he had no aptitude for cultivation, their attitude immediately changed, and they even wanted to terminate the contract early. It was only because of legal constraints that they were unable to succeed. Chun-Shin kept these things in mind. But no matter what, he had been at Shueiyun Martial Arts School for so long and had received resources from the school. Now that the Rock Martial Arts School is causing trouble at his doorstep, he can't just sit idly by. After all, he is still a member of Shueiyun Martial Arts School. Slapping Shueiyun Martial Arts School in the face is slapping him in the face. Trying to climb over him to get ahead, we'll have to see if his fists agree first. Chapter 27. Kicked out of the martial arts school? On the way to Shueiyun Martial Arts School, Chun-Shin looked at Mushiwa with a puzzled expression. Mushiwa, why did the people from Shueiyun Martial Arts School come looking for you? Have they all already lost? Mushiwa shook her head slightly and explained, It was Instructor Yu who called me, saying that the people from Panshir Martial Arts School came here specifically to cause trouble, and they even specifically asked to see me. Upon hearing this, not only Chun-Shin, but even Yizing, who was standing to the side, looked at Mushiwa with a puzzled expression. How dare Rock Martial Arts School do this? Chun-Shun said with an amused expression. Although the Rock Martial Arts Academy also has 2 people on the prodigy ranking, they are only ranked 13th and 16th respectively. If they want to cause trouble for Mushiwa now, wouldn't they be asking for trouble? The people at Rock Martial Arts Academy shouldn't be that stupid, right? Even if they want to reclaim the honor that belongs to Rock Martial Arts Academy, they wouldn't be so brainless, would they? In previous years, Panshir Martial Arts School was ranked higher than Shueiyun Martial Arts School, but this year, with Mushiwa becoming the #1 martial arts school, Panshir Martial Arts School has been overtaken by Shueiyun Martial Arts School. When the 3 arrived at Shueiyun Martial Arts School, they saw people walking towards the dueling platform. Those who came to the Rock Martial Arts Academy must be at the fighting arena. The 3 of them walked over as well. There were already nearly 100 people on the dueling platform. Most of the people from Shueiyun Martial Arts School are here. They all glared angrily at the 10 people surrounded in the middle of the playground. These 10 people are the 10 strongest members of the 18-year-old generation at the Rock Martial Arts Academy. The 2 leading figures are Wang Hongda and Zhang Liang, who are ranked 13th and 16th on the prodigy ranking. Both of them are at the mid-stage of the Blood Bell realm. Chun-Shin nodded, carefully sensing that the auras emanating from the 2 individuals were not particularly strong. Yesterday morning, Just 4 o'clock away from breaking through to the 8th level of martial artist, Chun absorbed 5 more top-grade chi and blood pills in the following day. At this moment, Chun's chi and blood had reached a terrifying 638 points. Having surpassed the 9th level of martial arts, he is already preparing to break through to the Blood Bell realm. In just 2 days, his chi and blood points increased from 350 to 638. If I told anyone, people would call me an idiot. How could anyone be so incredibly powerful? Even Bai Mushua needed 10 days to half a month to increase her chi and blood by 300 points. How could Chun have done it in less than 2 days? Chun also felt that the power within his body was now extremely strong. One punch and tiger roaring forest from the War God boxing gym would be knocked down. Even without using any martial arts techniques, his punch at this moment can reach more than 12,000 jin. I haven't yet tested how much power I have when I activate the battle body and use martial arts techniques at full strength. Bai Mushua, you finally arrived. Zhang Liang saw Bai Mushua and her 2 companions who had stepped aside from the crowd, and he smiled. Bai Mushua glanced at Zhang Qi, who was lying on the ground not far away and unable to get up, and didn't care at all. This Qi is another person from Shueiyun Martial Arts School on the Prodigy ranking, besides her, ranking 18th. No, it's the 19th now. 2 days ago, the Education Department of Tianlin City re-released the new list of outstanding talents. Yixing ranked 2nd, just below Bai Mushua, and the other prodigies also dropped 1 place. Wang Hongda and Zhang Liang also dropped 1 place, becoming 14th and 17th respectively. I don't know what gives you the courage to come looking for me. Bai Mushua looked at Wang Hongda and Zhang Liang with a cold expression, as if in her eyes they were nothing more than ants. The other people following behind them were completely ignored by him. Wang Hongda and Zhang Liang were not angry at Bai Mushua's disdainful words, because that was the truth. It's not the 2 of us who want to challenge you. It's someone else. This time, the Rock Martial Arts Academy was just there to watch the show, and casually defeated one of the Water Cloud Martial Arts Academy's top talents. Upon hearing this, Bai Mushua frowned slightly and looked at the audience seats around the arena. There was a person sitting there. Although he was trying his best to conceal himself, Bai Mushua could still sense a faint aura emanating from him. Oh, it was actually detected. It seems you truly deserve to be number 1 on our prodigy ranking. As he spoke, the young man stopped hiding himself and stood up. With a leap, he landed on the playground and stood in front of Wang Hongda and Zhang Liang. This man had an extremely arrogant face, always looking at everyone with a sidelong glance. He also had a scar on his face, his hands were in his pockets, and his face was full of unruliness. Judging from his behavior, he was extremely arrogant. So that's why the people from Rock Martial Arts Academy dared to challenge me at Water Cloud Martial Arts Academy. It turns out that you, the so-called genius from War God Fist Academy, have broken through to the manifestation realm. You think that just because you're at the same level as me, you can beat me? I don't know where you got the courage. Should I call you naive? Or do you think you can easily defeat these ants and therefore have the strength to challenge me? However, why are you wearing the training clothes from Shueiyun Martial Arts School? Bai Mushua looked at the buzzcut boy calmly, her eyes completely unconcerned, as if even if he were at the same level as her, he wouldn't even be a threat to her. I was just puzzled by the training clothes he was wearing. The newcomer was none other than Zhang Haolin, the prodigy of the War God boxing gym. Facing Bai Mushua's disdainful gaze, Zhang Haolin looked at her with a smile, his hands in his pockets. As the former 2nd on the list of prodigies in Tianlin City, and now the 3rd, he is naturally very proud. He was ranked 3rd before because he was in seclusion breaking through, but now that he has broken through to the manifestation realm, he feels that Bai Mushua is no longer his match. Why are you in such a hurry? I'm here to give you a surprise. As he spoke, he pointed to his training clothes. See this outfit? Now I'm the senior disciple of Shueiyun Martial Arts School. And you, and that good-for-nothing beside you, have already been kicked out of the martial arts school by the master. In order to obtain Chun, who has the talent of life revival, the head of the club signed such a huge contract. But later it was discovered that Chun was actually a waste. 3 million resources were poured in for a year, but there was no splash at all. Tell me, how could the head of the club not be angry? His contract has now expired, so he'll be the first one they kick. As for you, Bai Mushua, Humph, the martial arts school gives you so many resources every year, and you never go to lead the school to participate in some competitions. You're just wasting so many of the school's educational resources. Plus, with your relationship with Chun, tell me, would the headmaster still be willing to keep you? Upon hearing this, Bai Muxue snorted coldly. This was just an excuse to kick her out. She hadn't taken much of the martial arts school's resources. On the contrary, she had led the school to win many first place in the Tianlin City competitions, which boosted the reputation of Shuiyun Martial Arts School. It now seems that the owner of Shuiyun Pavilion only wanted to get rid of Zhang Haolin after he had helped him. Now that I'm at Shuiyun Martial Arts School, it doesn't matter whether you're here or not. With me here, even if you leave, Shuiyun Martial Arts School will still be number one. Zhang Haolin stared at Bai Muxue with disdain, a long knife appearing in his hand, its tip pointing directly at Bai Muxue. Bai Muxue remained unmoved, simply gazing at him calmly. Bai Muxue smiled. At this moment, she didn't feel angry, but rather amused. It's hard to say whether Lu Jingming, the owner of Shuiyun Martial Arts School, is confused or if fate is playing a trick on him. Chen Shun is no longer a useless person, but a genius with a battle body. If he had kicked out the two people before, Bai Muxue might not have found it funny. But now Chen Shun is an even more talented prodigy than her, and she was just abandoned by him like that, severing her relationship with a future big shot just like that. That's hilarious. Then let's go. Bai Muxue also wanted to let the pavilion master Lu Jingming know that not just any peer in the manifestation realm could try to take advantage of her. Enraged by Bai Muxue's dismissive gaze, Zhang Haolin's blood and qi instantly surged, his crimson qi rising into the sky and condensing into a fierce tiger around his body. This is the manifestation realm of the three realms of qi and blood, which allows one to manifest qi and blood externally, condensing it into various attacks, and also to launch long-range attacks by separating qi and blood from the body. Suddenly raising his head, he slashed out with his red longsword, and the nearly 10-meter-tall tiger behind him roared out, rushing straight towards Bai Muxue with the flash of the blade. He wanted to unleash his ultimate move as soon as he appeared, instantly killing Bai Muxue and letting everyone know how powerful Zhang Haolin was. Bai Muxue remained unmoved by Zhang Haolin's attack, standing calmly in place. You used your signature martial art right away, but what's the use? Everyone on the surrounding playground rushed to the outer perimeter, fearing they would be injured by the fierce attack. After all, most people are only at the Qi martial realm, so this attack from the manifestation realm is like a natural disaster to them. Bai Muxue stood still, facing the fierce tiger blade light that was rushing in like a tsunami. Bai Muxue simply stepped on her right foot calmly. In an instant, the world suddenly changed, as if the arena had abruptly turned from early spring into the dead of winter, with the surrounding temperature dropping rapidly. Centered on Bai Muxue, the ground instantly froze into a frozen world. The air was filled with a white chill, and Zhang Haolin's surging blood tiger was frozen into a block of ice in an instant by this death-like chill. This scene was witnessed by many people present, who were all shocked and opened their mouths wide. Zhang Haolin's signature blood tiger slash, a top-grade earthly realm martial skill, was so easily broken by Bai Muxue. Why do I get the feeling that Zhang Haolin is nothing special after all? How is this possible? How can she be so strong? Chapter 28. Let's go at it together. The last sentence was an exclamation of disbelief from Zhang Haolin himself. He never imagined that the gap between himself and Bai Muxue would be so vast. The opponent had no real combat skills and didn't move an inch from the spot. Just like that, his strongest attack was broken? If this is all the strength you have, you should just go wash up and go to sleep. Shuiyun Martial Arts School really has no taste in hiring you as their face. Before Bai Muxue finished speaking, a vortex of icy blood energy condensed in her right hand, and then she struck out with her palm. The icy cyclone suddenly transformed into a massive ice storm the moment it left his hand. A direct look at Zhang Haolin. Icicles grew all around. Inside the venue, the wind howled and chaos reigned. Zhang Haolin's eyes widened as he stared blankly at the scene before him. He no longer had any thought of running away, because there was no way to escape the attack range of this 10-meter-high storm. It's unbelievable that someone at the early stage of the manifestation realm could unleash such an attack. Impossible. How could the gap between us be so huge? I'm going to die. I'm really going to die. Zhang Haolin desperately wanted to run away, but his legs seemed to be fixed in place, and he watched as the icy storm swept in. But he was powerless to do anything about it. There's no escaping it. At that moment, a gentle breeze blew by, followed by a surge of blood and qi, and a huge blood-red fist shadow rushed from outside the playground straight towards the icy storm. When the ice storm was less than 10 meters away from Zhang Haolin, the blood-red fist shadow struck the ice storm. The two collided, unleashing a massive energy storm. Zhang Haoling's body was also affected by this violent energy. He was sent flying backward and crashed heavily to the ground. His clothes were completely torn to shreds, and his body was covered with cracks of all sizes.